And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. I tell you, I didn't think that when Cyrus Jirongo shows up on the bench, he'd generate so much chatter. Tweets coming in very thick, very fast. This is a man who's been around for the last quarter century, so he knows the politics of this country since the early 90s. Let me read a couple of your tweets. Some of them are pretty amusing. Oyugi, Stephen Oyugi, you say, enjoying the discussion. I admire Jirongo's mastery of historical events, looking sober and articulate. And then Wahome Gia, and you suddenly say, Uhuru used to milk Jirongo's cows.
He only milked once.
And then The Season says, Jirongo talking about integrity without shame. You need to apologize to Kenyans for economic pilferage. Is that true?
Let's start there.
Did you all print your own notes back then and bring down the economy?
Now, let me start there. I gave you the anatomy of assassinations in Kenya. Normally, there's an economic crime committed, and they will target somebody to stop him from saying the truth, and then they give the stories. I told you. I mentioned to you that I was a victim of attempted assassination. Any person in this republic who understands what happened in 1992 knows very well Goldenberg ripped this country 158 billion. Then the attempted assassination of one Cyrus Jirongo would have been a very good explanation of that looting.
They would have blamed you for all that thing.
But fortunately, I survived it. And to date, the thing that brought down the Kenyan economy was Goldenberg. Show me a single line where Jirongo was involved in Goldenberg. None. If you want to talk about Jirongo's involvement with money and business, I built Hazina Estate with borrowed money. The bank closed down. From 300 million, I was asked to pay 1.6 billion. I'm in the process right now of settling 1 billion shillings.
A billion?
Yes, most of it has been paid. It is there, lying on an escrow account with the Central Bank of Kenya, pending transfer of certain items. And I'll have just possibly 200 million to pay. And remember, the justice system was used to terrorize those you don't want on the political scene. It happened to very many, including retired President Kibaki's bank, Continental Bank. A bank that gave me my first loan of 70,000 was put under, not because it was not doing the right business, but economic warfare against perceived political opponents was a way of silencing them.
But then people say that you were very close to former President Daniel Arap Moi. You were very close.
No doubt, we were close. But I would give somebody a medal if he came up and told me, Cyrus Jirongo, you are a very close friend of retired President Moi, and he gave you this allotment, you went and sold to NSSF what they used to do, and loot money there at exorbitant prices. I would want somebody to show me something of that sort. This is stereotyping. And you know, when assassination, or when they want to explain an economic crime, what they will normally do, they'll create that propaganda. So Jirongo was being given, of course, you want to kill a dog, give us a bad name. And of course, you kill a dog to help you explain something that you've done. And you're explaining because you want to escape the crimes you've done. I was shocked. Somebody looting 158 billion shillings in the Republic of Kenya was left off the hook by one justice, I think Macau.
And they're still walking the streets.
And they're still walking the streets. And everybody wants to make it look like YK92 was involved. I built Saika Estate with I borrowed 130 million shillings from National Bank. I borrowed 300 million shillings from Post Bank Credit to do Hazina Estate. Now, to distract, because those actually that benefited out of Goldenberg were serious Kenyans holding powerful offices. Jirongo was a perfect candidate to carry the blame.
So, are you a wealthy man today?
I eat, I don't starve.
Kwa hivyo do nayo uko sawa
ya kunilinda.
Let's switch gears.
Yes.
The hate level in this country.
Yes.
It's gone to incredible, ridiculous levels. What is it about us?
Jeff, tribalism is a scourge in our country, and it begins with our government. Every document that is issued to you, your tribe must be described. And tribalism is actually the very reason of what we are discussing and seeing as hate speech. For me, there was a musician, Johnny DeMatthew,
Matthew.
and then another one, Commander Sioi, or Koi, something, and Joroge. They were arrested and arraigned in court for singing and expressing a feeling. Of course, they were discharged. Machage and somebody else also were forced to leave their office on hate speech. They were again discharged. I don't believe that the way to deal with somebody's feelings is to stop him from expressing his feelings. Korea, for instance, expressed his feelings. What we must be looking at is what caused Korea to express the feelings that he expressed. And a good place to start is what Muzalendo Kibunja had done. He took an audit of ethnicity within the Public Service Commission. He went on to take the audit in parastatals and the county government. This was an opportunity for us to use the statistics and the profiling he had done to correct the imbalances that cause some of these feelings people have.
Which we haven't.
We have not done it. Instead, the commission that is supposed to be dealing with this, the Kaparo Commission today, are being led on the on a wrong chase, trying to silence people to say what they feel. And of course, it is impossible for one to legislate a feeling. You can't legislate love, right? It's a feeling.
Correct.
You can't stop me from feeling what I want to feel. We must not also use it to silence Kenyans, arresting people, taking them to court, knowing very well you will never get a conviction.
So you're not going to solve anything with all this?
You will not solve the problem using the arrests that we are seeing. Korea was expressing his feelings. What we must deal with is what made him express such a feelings. Now, that is where the problem lies. And that is what the Cohesion Commission needs to be concentrating on.
At the same time, there are people in government who would want this to continue into the next election. This hate, this pent-up hatred for each other. Because the way it looks now, 2017 is not looking good.
Let me tell you, I don't at all support people expressing themselves, or I don't support the consequences of violence, assassinations, because of speech. I don't. Right? But I don't equally agree that the way to deal with hate speech is to try and legislate it. You can't deal with hate speech. I've said that. They are the penal code. If I send you a message that is threatening you, you'll take me to court and get a conviction.
Yeah.
Clean, smooth, and precise.
Hopefully.
That is what we need to do. If I threaten your life, if I insult you, there is the penal code. It can deal with it.
Yeah.
The Cohesion Commission needs to be doing something totally different to bring this country together.
Yeah.
And that's not what it's doing.
No.
I agree with you. Next election is looking a bit bleak.
Yeah.
We've got to midwife it very carefully.
And you people who live in the Rift Valley, you must be worried.
And I want to tell you, Jeff, this is something that can be solved. There must be a willingness for us to accept ourselves as Kenyans. You cannot teach me to be Kenyan. I'm Kenyan. Now, when you find a politician and particularly those in high office, taking a platform and trying to teach you how to be Kenyan, telling you we want a united Kenya, surely there's something this person is masking. The wrongdoing they use in government offices to inflict exclusion and other evils against fellow citizens. And that is what is generating hate.
Yeah.
And it's a situation or an issue we can deal with. And that's what Kaparo needs to be dealing
You
with.
think we can deal with it before 2017?
We have to be careful as a country. And I hope those that talk about and try to teach Kenyans to be Kenyans are aware that they might be the biggest obstacles towards us having a clean and a free election.
Or maybe, you know, because you talk to the president or you have access to him and you insist that he's a reluctant president. Maybe if you just tell him, look, crack this whip, kick some, you know what?
President Uhuru, as I've said, is a very likable person. I just want him to put some energy into his leadership. Let Uhuru walk across the country. And he is the president. He should not carry certain luggage with him wherever he's going to talk to Kenyans.
Speaking of luggage, people say it's those people around him who just make him look bad. It's those people around him. Well, you know.
I couldn't have put it better. Let him go out there, talk to Kenyans as Uhuru Kenyatta. A majority of Kenyans have no issues with Uhuru Kenyatta at all. And I'm not the first person to say this, including the opposition leader, Raila Odinga. He has said and said severally that he doesn't see an issue with President Kenyatta. So I'm not the first one to say this. But we can clearly see where the problem of President Uhuru is coming from.
Can he clean this up before 17?
It is very possible for him to do it. It is extremely possible and very, very important that he cleans the situation we are seeing before it happens.
If he was watching you right now, and he, you know, he probably is watching you right now, thinking that, you know, he's going to milk your cows in the next, you know, next time he comes to Lugari or Kitale.
Yes.
What would you tell? What's the one piece of advice you would offer him?
My friend, move out there and talk to Kenyans. Move out there and put this country together. Move out there and midwife this election to be peaceful. It starts with sorting out IEBC. It starts with inclusion. It starts with addressing what Muzalendo Kibunja came up with. You can address it. That is the message.
Yeah. Should IBC be disbanded and reconstituted?
Jeff, a vote is a very important tool to a Kenyan. It is important to ensure that everybody and the process of registering a Kenyan as a voter is done with integrity. The casting of the vote, we ensure that it's done properly. The counting of the vote and the tallying of the vote is done to standards that cannot be questioned. This is the only way a Kenyan negotiates the leader he's giving mandate for the next 5 years. Hence, a tool for his voice. It must therefore be handled with the integrity that it deserves.
Yeah, but are we going to be reconstituting it every 5 years? Is that what we're going to be doing if we're not happy with the election?
What you need to be very careful about is the process that we go through to pick on people to lead such institutions that are supposed to be independent. We can't put up an electoral commission today, a new one, and it ends up messing. But if the process is thorough enough, we are looking at the integrity of those that are going to manage that election. I want to assure you, we will be able to put up a commission that will do a job that will be acceptable by all Kenyans. Whether the process that is being used is acceptable, to me it might not be, because an electoral process is not an issue of two friends sitting in Nairobi and agreeing, or a parliament deciding. They'll decide for Kenyans what needs to be decided. Remember, 5.7 million Kenyans voted for candidates for parliamentary positions, and they're not in parliament. Remember, we have elected MCAs, 1,450 of them, elected by the people. We have 94 governors and deputy governors elected by the people, closer to the people at home. They feel the pulse and the thinking of the electorate on a daily basis. We should not confine this to Parliament. If I had my way, and I think we've passed these messages when we need to pass them.
Yeah.
You need to give Kenyans a process that they'll have confidence in, a process that is respectful, truthful, and without manipulation of any sort. Kenyans will have confidence in that commission. And whoever is given that opportunity must also understand what he's carrying on his shoulder. That you are carrying the voice of all Kenyans on your shoulder. For God's sake, allow them to express themselves, negotiate the leadership they want through the ballot.
Before we go to break, let me ask you this question real quick. If in 2022, if you don't run in 17, let's say you decide you don't run and you run in 22, you're still young. How old are you? 54?
55. Same age with Uhuru.
There you go. So William Ruto is standing in 22. And Cyrus Jirongo is standing in 22. Could you beat him?
My vision of leadership is different from his vision of leadership. Surely he wouldn't be my match.
He wouldn't be your match?
He wouldn't. I understand what the word Mheshimiwa means. Mheshimiwa means honor. Leadership is you are supposed to bestow honor on yourself and serve your people. Let me tell you what most people don't understand about leadership. There are deep interests in a country. People have made investments. People are doing businesses. Those interests must be protected, and those interests must be allowed to thrive. On the other hand, you have the population that is starving, that is jobless. You require creativity and free thinking. In my view, those are some of my most powerful tools. I'm creative enough, I think freely, and I understand the leadership as honor. What would I want my legacy to look like if I was a president? Honor. People can remember me the way they remember Mandela, Martin Luther King, and money can never match the value of honor.
So you would beat
that is the difference.
You're saying you would beat William Ruto?
Hands down.
Wow. Extinguish your time, folks. This is too much. Wow. We got to take a break, come back, and gather our thoughts here because this is deep. This is deep. Cyrus Jirongo just called it. Keep tweeting at Cyrus Jirongo, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag Jirongo. Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski takes another quick break. We may or may not be back. We might be banned. Back in a moment.